Pure electricity.
Ooh.
In my pants.
Oh, my.
Why y'all cheering for him when he looked like that?
I mean, I'm not trying to upstage you. So, how you doing today, sir?
Good, how you?
Doing good, you know. How's your Blerdcon experience?
I'm surprised you don't smell.
I can't.
You know, cosplaying in this heat, that is a challenge.
I mean, I should be a spokesperson for right guard at this point. I guess my very first question, just offer it. Just run with me on this. So, did they grab you from craft service table for your little appearance in Spider-Man 2? Cameo on train and stuff? Because that was like the most random moment of you just being in a movie like, is that Phil Lamarr? Okay. So, how did that happen? Because that was just kind of like, all right.
Grab you from the craft service table.
I don't know. That's my head. That is my head.
When I was serving fruit?
No, you were getting food.
No, ain't nobody ever eat what I made.
No, but how did that happen?
No, I had auditioned for the movie.
Oh, really?
There was a scene, there's a dude in the elevator with Peter Parker in his costume. It's like, hey, nice costume. And Hal Sparks got that part. But then later, my agent got a call and they said, hey, would Phil be interested in being in this other scene? And we said, what can we see the scene? Can you send us the scene? It's like, no. We can't tell you nothing and we can't show you nothing. So I was like, well, agent, ask them, make sure that I'm actually gonna be on set directed by Sam Raimi, not just like in the background or something. So, no, you can be with Sam Raimi. Like, oh, okay. And I'm like, well, I'm a big comic book nerd, so I'll be in a Spider-Man movie any way I can. Whether I got a line or not. And got there and wound up realizing, well, Sam explained it. You know, he said, yeah, I got this big action train scene. We got like 50, background extras. But I feel like this fight between Spider-Man and Dr. Ock is got a lot of emotion. It's really important about the movie. So he said, I hired 8 actors to spread out among the extras so I can have people to, cut to for either lines or just, emotional expressions and responses to things like, oh, wow, I ain't never heard of that. And so, yeah, we looked like extras, but we were there as actors.
Well, cool. Shout out to you with the UPS shirt on, former worker years ago, many years ago. So I appreciate it, you UPS guy.
Well, actually, it's funny. Yeah, I'm wearing this UPS shirt, which is the original costume when I created the character on stage. But then, once we moved it onto TV, Fox said, no, you can't use the actual name of that company. We'll make it into UPS. All right, we don't want to give nobody a free commercial.
We definitely don't. A while back I talked to Kari Payton. I was remarking to him about like Kari Payton. And we were talking about like how in Young Justice, he played 2 characters that were talking to each other. So for you, is that still a surreal thing to do? Because I know you were Virgil and Green Lantern, and they both had interactions at some point in the shows. Like how did you go about that whole process of just being able to talk and still keep that same tempo of those individual characters?
Well, I mean, at first it seemed like a tough, gig, because back in the old days, we used to record all of our cartoon scenes in groups. So you were doing a scene with all the other actors. And when you on stage, you ain't never playing Hamlet and his dad. So having to talk to yourself seemed, although I wasn't as scared by it, because by the time we did Static, I had already been doing Futurama. And I had been in the room watching Billy West be 3 people talking to each other. And I was like, oh, damn. This feels like doing a pickup basketball game with Michael Jordan. It sets your bar this high. Am I ever gonna be able to do that? But then when they, it's like, okay, there's this episode where Static meets Jon Stewart, like, oh, okay. I'll go high. And low.
Seamless. For you, like, do you enjoy doing more like live action roles in comparison to animation, or is it just all kind of equal in your eyes?
Well, it's not about the medium, or working on mic versus on camera. What it's about is the quality of the people you work for and with. Like, working with Genndy Tartakovsky on Samurai Jack. I mean, that is closer to working with Quentin Tarantino in Pulp Fiction than it is doing some crappy little PBS cartoon. Because that's the thing, I have been lucky to work with a big handful of amazing creators, artists, just getting in your career once to be able to work with Matt Groening or Bruce Timm or Genndy Tartakovsky or Dave Filoni or Seth MacFarlane. Any one of those would make you feel like, woo, I made it! But to be able to have more than one, that is a blessing. And it's the reason I'm here. Because those people create amazing shows that touch us all. And we remember them from decades later. To me, Static Shock. Did to Saturday morning cartoons what Stan Lee's Marvel did to comic books in the 60s. It brought a realistic type of feel to this fantasy world that our parents would all blank at us when they saw us looking into.
You mentioned Quentin Tarantino, Pulp Fiction, that whole, obviously, you interacting with Samuel Jackson, how was that experience like, especially with your character, his character, and just the dynamics of everything that was going on?
Well, being on set with Sam was like being in a booth with Billy West. It sets a bar so high, because here was this nice dude who 5 minutes ago was standing out off set, and he was talking about daughter or golf. Was just a nice little guy. But then, when we walk on set, that guy Sam I was just talking to is gone. And when I'm looking at Jules, I'm looking in somebody else's eyes. I'm like, holy shit. He just transformed himself. Like that. And I'm like, I just took a master acting class. It's gonna take me years, but now I know you gotta learn to do that. He didn't have to go, I am going to say my character's name over and over to transfer. No, he just flipped. And all of a sudden, I was actually scared of that dude.
What was your first reaction when you kind of read the script and saw that your character just accidentally get shot in the face? Because it's the most accidental scene ever. Like, did he really shoot? Maybe it was an accident. I don't know. Like, what was your first reaction just reading through that?
That script was amazing. It's incredible to be reading a script and feel like you memorize it as you read it. But I knew, okay, this thing is so good, it should be printed in gold. And that's how a guy with only one indie film in his credits was able to get all those big stars back in the 90s for just $8 million bucks. Because everybody read that script and went, woo, yeah. Yeah, no, I'll take a pay cut for this. But my scene, I remember thinking, oh, he's got the guys in the car doing that little, chit chat. This is like, that those guys at dinner talking about Madonna and Reservoir Dogs. But Quentin did a parody of one of his chat scenes. It's like, yeah, we're just talking about, oh, you remember see that show? Oh, Cops. Yeah. What? Oh man, what'd you do? Then all of a sudden the chit chat stops because somebody's bleeding.
Were you like the reaction to getting that last season of Samurai Jack? I know you were probably like ecstatic that you could finally finish the story. So like when you read through everything for that last season, what was the sort of feeling for you?
Well, one, I was just happy to be able to come back to playing the samurai because Cartoon Network announced the show was coming back before they ever told me.
Okay, so they never told you at all. There was no.
I heard about it in the news. And 6 months before that, they had done a reboot of Powerpuff Girls where they recast all the Powerpuffs. So I was like, uh-oh. But Gendy said, no. You're the samurai. And, he had been, we knew we had to get to the completion of the mission. Because, hey, when something's in your theme song, you gotta do it. On Friends they say, we'll be there for each other. They're always there for each other every episode. And our theme song said, got to get back. So we had to get back. And he did an amazing job, even though it was 13 years later. He moved us forward. What I thought the show would have evolved into had it kept going for those 13 years. Like, wow, yeah, we're now, this noble samurai is in trauma because he has been fighting a war for 50 years and hasn't won. But we're still gonna figure out a way to win.
I mean, seeing all the callbacks that last season was kind of great because seeing your characters, like all the characters that he interacted with, it was great seeing that. I mean, for you, like were you able to kind of like, I know you say you're not in the same room with some of the voice actors, but was it kind of surreal seeing like those characters and those people that voiced those characters in previous seasons come back in some way, shape, or form and interact with your character?
No, because, obviously in the voiceover world, you work with a lot of the same people. So it wasn't like I had seen, John DiMaggio. We were still doing Futurama. But it was interesting to see all the new characters because then I was watching great old friends do amazing new stuff. Like Tom Kenny playing that villainous, assassin. I was like, wow. And what Tara Strong did as Ashi. I was like, damn girl, I've known you for 20 years and I ain't ever seen you do this.
Are we Q&A? All right, cool, yeah. Take it to the audience. Spice it up a little bit.
Yeah, we got a little time.
Yeah, of course.
We ain't on CP time today.
Ask him about Vamp. I'm dead serious. Go ahead and ask him about Vamp, bro.
These lights in our eyes, we can see. Hey.
I've always wondered this. You have a really long filmography, right? Has there ever been a project that you forgot you were involved in?
At my age, yeah. But that's usually the not great one.
I got a little bit of a two-part. One, how does it feel to not only follow in the footsteps of Scatman Carruthers and voice one of the coolest cars ever made in jazz, And two, what was it like working on Transformers animated?
Well, it's interesting because I hadn't been deep into the Transformers stuff, so I had to do a lot of research to catch up because there was so many, approaches to the Transformers world, and I was like, oh wait, which one are we doing? But the trickiest thing was, wait, you got me doing jazz? So I'm gonna sound, no, don't make him sound like Scatman Crothers. I'm trying. So I made him sound like Quincy Jones instead.
Hi, how you doing? Have you ever had like a fan interaction with a case of mistaken identity? Like somebody came up to you and was like, "Oh, you were great as Cyborg in Teen Titans."
Well, that better never happen at Blerdcon. Actually, Orlando Jones told me something. He said, "Oh, I loved you as the UPS guy."
Two different black guys.
Well, and apparently he's like, you can only see color, not 6 inches of height.
You're one of my favorite voice actors ever. I mean, you played some of my favorite characters, especially John. I mean, Green Lantern is the bomb, man. And I understand you were also Lex Luthor.
No.
I'm just kidding. He just asked that question. I'm just playing with you.
This interview is over.
It's a Blerdcon. Oh God,
See, that don't make you seem racist, just don't. Because we don't know if you confuse me with Giancarlo Esposito or Michael Rosenbaum. Either way, I got hair.
I was just curious. One of my other favorites was Kevin Conroy. I wondered if how essentially his loss had any particular effect on you.
Yeah. Well, the loss of Kevin hit me super, super hard, but on double levels. One, I lost a friend, but also I'm a big Batman fan. And, he was the coolest Batman of our lifetime. Like, to me, that was like the dark, powerful human in those 1938 comic books. Is the way he made it sound. But yeah, to lose somebody who embodies a character you feel is so much a huge part of your life, but also to lose a friend who you had a great dinner with sometimes, that hurts even more.
Yeah, thank you.
Hello, sir. Welcome.
Nice shirt.
Thank you. I think you got a picture of me in Florida when I had a shirt on like this. I've been a fan of yours since the Mr. T cartoon era. Yep, I remember that.
Yeah.
And
Oh, you must be older than you look. I feel like Mr. T don't even remember that. What do you mean? I had cereal. I have no cartoon.
Fight, crime, and gymnastics. I definitely remember. But I just was wondering. I know with you doing so many different cartoons over the years. Like I think one of my favorite characters was Dracula from Billy and Manny. And I'm just like, what is the inspiration for Dracula?
What's that?
What is the inspiration for that character for you?
Well, I've been working with that creator for a while. He was great, Adam. And we had done a show called Evil Con Carne, which
I love that show.
which was, another Michael Jordan pickup game, because I got to work alongside Frank Welker, who is one of the most incredible, legendary voice artists in the world. And wow. And Frank would just be doing bare sounds, not actual lines. But he was so good, he could do a monologue with bare sounds. And you would understand every word and every thought. But then, you know, we got because it was grim and evil, but then they canceled the evil half. But thankfully, they kept going with Grim Adventures of Billy and Manny, because that show was great. I mean, Ray Delisle and Richard Horvitz are incredible. And so it brought me in to do a character, and he showed me his drawing. Yeah, the Grim Reaper is going to be friends with Dracula. And I saw the thing like, whoa, you made your Dracula look like Blackula? Well, hey Adam, why don't I give him a 70s sounding voice? Yeah, dummy. What you think? Dracula don't suck. Straight and lit. And he went with it.
Fantastic.
Even though I'm sure he figured most of the kids watching the Cartoon Network back then would not get a Sanford and Son reference.
I think that's what made it so great, because it wasn't just geared toward kids. Your character was definitely like a family character as a whole.
And they began to write the character into that thing. I mean, that whole thing where we were like, look, line up, kids. Ugly, ugly, dummy, dummy, ugly. That's like if Red Fox was writing the show.
What's going on, Phil? So, like, for me, growing up, like, Static Shock was, like, a super big deal, because, like, before that, we didn't really see, like, black superheroes, like, in the public eye. So, like, my question just revolves around, like, what was, like, for you, like, what was the cultural impact of, like, doing Virgil and just, like, inspiring, like, a whole new generation of, like, black kids to, like, believe in themselves and just, like, believe in, like, nerd culture and things like that?
Well, I mean, back then, diversity and representation wasn't nobody's buzzwords. But we knew the significance of, this is going to be the first show ever with a black teenage superhero lead character. And it's like, no, that matters. And also, I don't know if we understood the significance of bringing the Milestone Comics stuff, which embodied diversity and representation in so many ways, into the television world, which back then was not, not to do another Friends reference. But, the fact that that was a Saturday morning cartoon changed things. And also, they did great storytelling, I mean, nowadays, anybody who grew up watching it, your kids could watch it and still enjoy it, because it's not just old stuff, but it feels like, yeah, that's what it might be like at high school if I had superpowers. Yeah. That's how I would think. That's how I would feel. And somebody would try to punch me.
One of my favorite episodes was like the episode where like Virgil met Richie's dad for the first time. Like that episode was so heavy because it's like they don't really talk about like discrimination and like racism on like TV. So like that episode had like a special impact too.
Right. And the fact that we were able to do that on a Saturday morning cartoon, I mean that's the level of quality, which is why this show was able to win the Humanitas Award.
Thank you.
Hey Phil, so you've played a lot of iconic roles throughout the years, including your time at Mad TV. So what was your favorite character to embody and what was the most challenging one?
What, on Mad?
Throughout your career.
Well, I don't have any one favorite just because I've been lucky enough, like I said before, working with incredible storytellers, and getting to play
John Stewart, Green Lantern, Sector 2814.
and the first black kid superhero, and get to play a Jedi when I grew up, watching Star Wars world, and that groundbreaking samurai, in that series. All of those are favorites. The sketch stuff, I don't know. Maybe it was mostly just the impressions.
Crazy? Like Wacko Jacko?
That's awesome. You definitely inspired an entire generation, so I appreciate you and thank you for everything that you've ever done.
Although, will I someday soon get canceled for doing ethnically inappropriate impressions on that TV? Somebody gonna attack me on X for doing whiteface?
You'll be fine. You reach that bar where it's like, that's Phil.
Well, no, I did Billy Crystal. That's okay. He did Sammy Davis Jr.
How you doing, Mr. Lamarr? My question is, you brought to life all these different characters of your career, and you work with some great other voice actors. What is one character that you would have wanted to bring to life with your voice that maybe you didn't do?
No, there's nothing like that. Because anything you watching or working alongside, if the role is great, either as written or as performed, you're just going to enjoy it. And never think about, oh, that's so good, let me get that check. And if something's not as good, you don't think about, I could do that better. That's not a good way to enjoy them.
Thank you.
How's it going? I'm Tim from Alexandria, and we've met a couple times at AwesomeCon. And I have a two-part question. First, I want to say thank you for Samurai Jack and your character Hermes on Futurama, and Ollie Williams on and Ollie Williams on Family Guy. And so my question is, what is it like working with Matt Groening and Seth MacFarlane, and how did you come up with the voices for Hermes and Ollie Williams?
Well, like I said, working with great, nice, genius creators like those guys and some of the others I work with is a blessing. That is something you would do for free. To get paid to be able to say Matt Groening and Seth MacFarlane's words is a pleasure. Matt was, it's funny because he was hugely famous by the time we went to audition for Futurama, but it wasn't intimidating because he is a warm, friendly, sweet person. He's not somebody who you feel like is just looking at you like, I'm a billionaire, look away. No, and actually, originally, Hermes was not Hermes. Hermes was just the Planet Express certified bureaucrat named Dexter. And after about 3 episodes, I think Matt went to the writers and said, I don't know, this isn't feeling like that character's really working well. Maybe there's a way we can make him more interesting. Wouldn't it be fun if this, boring, nerdy bureaucrat was coming from a different angle, let's make him Jamaican. Because Jamaican people are cool, but this guy is not. So it'll give us some conflict. That'll be funny. And he, after one session, he walked up to me and said, "Hey, Phil, you think you could do a Jamaican accent?" I'm like, "Yeah." Thank goodness I said that. Because I could have been replaced if I could. But haven't gotten replaced, even though we have come back from the dead 4 times.